Welcome back to the Marianne Hickman Show. This is episode 80. And in this episode, we are doing our 2024 wrapped version of our podcast, not just the podcast stats, which I'm going to share with you right here because I think they're really fascinating, but also stats for our business, for our family, my top rules for the way I like to conduct my life. And I'm going to share some wins from our members. So your name might be listed in here. Who knows? If you're listening, check it out. Here's some stats from this year just to kick us off. Now, this podcast is in the top 25% of video podcasts on Spotify. Kind of cool. People that listen to this podcast, you might be listening to other podcasts like Joe Rogan Show, Mormon Stories, Bill Simmons, the Vial Files. I don't know what that is. And Andy Frisella. Kind of cool. High caliber people here. And the number one favorite episode so far as of the airing of this podcast is with Scott Donnell. It is streamed 334% more than the other episodes on this show. Who knows? Maybe this will be the next top hit. We will see. But listen up and check out this episode right here on the Marianne Hickman Show. So this is we decided to do a 2024 wrap. I remember we were sitting in the car listening to Chris Williams
or Williamson. It's Modern Wisdom.
The Modern Wisdom podcast. We love that show. We were listening to it on our way up to Idaho this last weekend. And on our way home, actually. And I remember we were in Farmington. And we're just driving home. And we're like, oh my gosh, this is such a great idea to do life hacks, to do a wrapped version. Spotify Wrapped went really big this year. And other influencers started copying it. Mm-hmm. It was wild to see, the variance of that.
And now we are going to copy it.
And we're going to copy it. It's good enough for Spotify. It's good enough for me.
Yeah.
So we're going to do 3 segments. We have our wrapped segment at the very beginning. We have our life hack segment. I gathered a few life hacks from our member base, and I gathered some from social media. And I have a list. We watch NCIS so much. We love that show. I made my own list. It's like rules on my phone.
Rules. Okay.
My rules. I'm going to share everybody my rules.
Okay.
For life. Because, what happens when I say, dang it, I broke a rule?
Usually you lost something.
It's usually because I lost something. And then I impose my rules on you. I'm like, if you just follow my rules.
Yeah, and those are your rules.
They are my rules.
Not mine.
And we made an agreement. I said, listen, I'm not going to impose these rules on you. But if you follow them, you will be happier. But I'm not going to punish you for not following them.
I'll be happier. Okay.
You will. How much happier are you when you don't lose stuff?
Well, sure, but I have different rules for how to not lose things.
I want to know your rules because I don't understand.
Set it down and
walk away.
Make sure that nobody touches it.
In a house full of 6 children?
Yeah.
Does that work well for you?
Most of the time. The kids know not to touch my stuff. Kids know not to touch anything on my desk. If I really don't want to lose something, put it on my desk.
Yeah.
No one's going to touch it.
That's true.
See?
It's true. But
that's my rule.
Yeah. I have 19 rules. Lots of them have to do with not losing stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up? Marianne Hickman here. Listen, I'm interrupting my own show because I want to give you something. Now, you guys all want to get on more stages. I've got a free resource for you of stages that are just clamoring for guests. They need guests on a daily, weekly, sometimes monthly basis. This is my podcast database. Now, what I'm going to do is have you go to mariannehickman.com/database. Once you put in your information there, I'm going to send this to you totally for free. Open up this database. You're going to click through it, find the next podcast that's relevant to your topic, hit the application button, show up on their podcast, get in front of their people, and share your content. Remember, mariannehickman.com/database. Let's get you unlocked.
Okay, so that's going to be middle segment. And then this last segment, my eyelashes are stuck together because I had to use glue this morning. Okay, it's when my top lid gets stuck to my bottom lid, and it's like... Okay, my last segment is wins. I have a bunch of client wins that I've kind of been aggregating throughout the year. And then with our group that we do every morning, they share with me their wins every single day. So I have a group, we have this group, this accountability group that we run every morning. And we set goals for the year. We kick off the group once a year. We set goals for the year. We break those goals down into quarterly segments, monthly segments, weekly segments, and then daily action steps, and then set a reward or consequence for those daily action steps. And those generate a lot of wins because people do their stuff because there's consequences attached to it if they don't. Oh my.
Ryan Bishop. Shout out to Ryan, man of integrity.
Man of integrity right there. We'll tell that
who
story.
actually did it.
Don't let me forget to. Maybe you
Okay.
should tell that story.
I mean, okay. Ryan shaved his eyebrow because he didn't do his thing. Story told.
Now I'm going to tell a story. But I'm going to do it later.
Okay.
I'm going to do it later.
Okay.
Spoiler alert. Okay. Let's get into our wrapped segment here. So I've got my cheat sheet right here for anyone that is live on Instagram while we're filming here that throws in some of their life hacks. I want to make sure they get a shout out too.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. One of the biggest things we did this year, and I'll kind of start out with one of our failures. Not the ones that we talked about earlier. This is a different one. And all of our failures, we have forced them into a learning lesson. So it really doesn't feel like it sucks so bad.
Well, I mean, that's the point of failure, right?
Right.
You fail upwards.
Mm-hmm. As long as you keep moving.
Yeah. Well, yeah, of course.
And that was what we did the first 3 months of this year. We were going in a direction of a certain subtopic of business as a company, or the what we did for people was sales.
Yeah, that's
Right?
what we were trying to teach. That was all of our content was around that. Everything was around sales.
We even hired a team last year at the end of last year.
We hired a team to be able to do all the content. And then we also did, we created a course around it.
Full-blown course, hours and hours of recording.
Oh my gosh.
Wrote a book on it, a couple books on it.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody cared.
No one cared. No one cared. No one loved us enough to buy it.
Oh gosh, that's so not true. Oh my gosh. It was interesting because we would watch Jeremy Miner do his thing,
Yeah.
incredible guy, and we would watch a couple of other influencers do their thing, and we would bookmark their stuff. And I was like, okay, so I could teach this. I have not only the ability to teach it, but the background to back it up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we both did sales, you know, in our own rights and businesses. I ran a sales floor. We saw 200 sales reps come through that floor. Some of them are really successful. And some, I had a lot of sales reps that got out of debt and were able to provide for their families and get 6-figure incomes. And, you know, people were like getting married and starting families with the successes they had. Now, not every sales rep was super successful.
No.
They never are. But we had the track record for it. But it was crazy to me when we started doing this. I was not excited about it. And I think that showed. I was
Probably.
not
Yeah, a
excited
little
about
bit.
teaching sales because
You resisted recording that course so much. I had to like wrestle you and pin you down to be like, we're recording
wrestle
because
me and pin me down.
we
We're not
we-
recording that.
No, we're not recording that. But we needed to record the course because I was like, we have to monetize this somehow.
Yeah.
So we have to create a course.
Yeah.
And you didn't even want to record the course.
Oh, it's one of those things. So this Ikigai principle that we discovered. Hey, kitty, come here. This Ikigai principle that we discovered in sometime this year when we were watching Blue Zones.
Yeah, I don't
Remember that?
remember when, but yeah.
Sometime this year. This principle that the Japanese attribute their longevity to is this principle of Ikigai.
Yeah.
And Ikigai answers 4 questions. And when you answer all of those 4 questions in the Venn diagram having the center bubble covered, then that's your thing. That's what you do, right? And it has to be something. Here's the 4 questions. What can I get paid for? What am I good at? What does the world need? And what do I like to do?
Yeah.
The sales answered 3 of those.
Yeah, you don't like to do it.
Well, I don't mind doing sales. I love sales. I love, like, the reason I love sales is not the sleazy, skeezy, you know, money, dollar sign, commission breath kind of a thing. I love finding a solution for people.
Yeah.
And I love teaching people how to make money, sharing their solution. That's fun. But I don't like sitting down and recording sales courses. I don't like, I really was not passionate about teaching how to do sales.
Yeah. You can do sales. You don't care to teach it.
Exactly. It's like playing the trumpet versus teaching somebody else to play the trumpet. I love playing it, but I don't want to teach other people to do it. So it was missing that element for me. I'm like, I'm not having fun.
Yeah.
Everything else works. We know it can make money. We know people pay a lot of money to learn how to sell well. It's a win for them because they can turn around and use that knowledge to make more money. And it just was not
Yeah.
Wasn't fun. So that was one of our fails, is that we spent 3 months pointed in the wrong direction until we finally listened to ourselves, our hearts, our people, and we're like, okay, we need to teach public speaking because that's a blast.
And what's interesting about that also is we tried starting off with like that weekly call, and the weekly call was about sales, and then there was going to be another call about public speaking.
Mm-hmm.
And we tried so hard to kind of kick that public speaking call off. We even had one person who joined only for that part.
Yeah.
But then for whatever reason, tech issues and this and that, they could never get in to be able to do what they wanted. And they dropped. They jumped ship. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
And they jumped ship. And now that's like all we do.
I know, right?
That's the irony, is it's like, I feel bad for that person a little bit, because it's like, if you just stuck it out a little bit.
I know. If you could just overcome the tech obstacles.
You wanted what we were about to do so bad. But anyway.
Not only that, but the price at the time
was so cheap.
$50 a month. We 10x that.
We've 10x the cost of that.
Yeah. Because of the huge value that's on the table there.
The value and the demand.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty crazy. And ultimately they weren't a good fit.
No.
I think the time in their life wasn't right. We are certainly much better at teaching it now than we were back then. Although if we had both stuck it out, we could have made it work and made great testimonials, but it just wasn't good timing.
Yeah.
Wasn't good timing. So that was one of our fails that turned into a win for us, was that failure. Okay. So let's go into our stats. So what number episode is this of the podcast, by the way?
This is going to be episode number 80, I believe.
Episode 80. So 80 episodes of the podcast. We did it.
In 1 year. In less than 1 year, because we didn't launch till February.
We started recording in January. We launched in February. And we've done 80 episodes in 11 months.
And we're a little behind what we should be, because we've missed some episodes.
We have.
On our cadence.
And again, that's a lesson for us. Is, okay, we need to plan batch recording around holiday seasons when we're traveling, and we don't usually record while we're, while we're doing family things and vacations. We're not going to record spring break probably, because we're going to be with the kids. We're not going to record fall break. So that's a lesson for us in batching.
Kind of interesting, a lesson there is that there were times where we had so many episodes in the bank that we were like, should we increase the number of episodes?
We almost did. And then we were like, no, let's continue a little bit more and see. And now I'm so grateful we didn't increase. Can you imagine? We'd be so much further behind.
So behind if we had increased.
Oh my gosh. As it is, we release 3 to 4 episodes a week.
2 to 3.
Okay.
So 1 to 3. We always release one on Sunday.
Every single Sunday we have one.
That is like an interview style podcast.
Right.
And then we typically release 2 talk tips a week.
Yeah.
We have missed a bunch of talk tips.
We've missed some talk tips, and then we have our another sub series with a couple episodes in the hopper.
Those are bonus
sporadic
bonus episodes that drop as like a 4th episode a week type thing. Yeah.
Sometimes.
So
we're at 80 episodes this week, and we just started our podcast this year. So if you're and the reason this is significant is if you're just starting your podcast and you're thinking about starting a podcast, first of all, go for it.
Yes. Just freaking do it. All you need is your iPhone.
That's where we started. Upstairs in our room.
You need an iPhone.
Yep.
Or not an iPhone. You need a phone. You can do it with an Android.
The other thing is commit to recording 20 episodes.
Well, I mean, at least commit to keep going.
Yeah.
You got to commit to keep going. If you're going to do even just once a week, that's 52 episodes in a year.
Well, yeah, but if you start it once a month like Renee did, you can record your 12 episodes and have a year's worth of content. You can always go up in your frequency, but you can't go down.
Yeah.
Think about like Game of Thrones or Yellowstone this year. Yellowstone abandoned their season halfway through, and we were all like, what the hell?
Yeah.
What? And then Kevin Costner, spoiler alert, dies. And
spoiler alert for those of you who don't.
You should be caught up by now, okay? Anyway, so.
No more spoilers.
I'm just going to say spoiler alert before I say it, so that way you can plug your ears. But the other one, what was the other one? It was Game of Thrones. Remember that episode that left us pissed for 2 weeks?
Oh yeah, that was the spinoff, the House of Dragon.
Oh, House of Dragon.
We
yeah.
didn't know. We didn't realize that was like the season finale.
Yeah.
And we watched it and we're like, great, next week's episode is going to be awesome.
Fire,
and then it was
right?
like, are you freaking kidding me? That was the season finale?
First of all, they usually do 9 episodes.
They
season.
do 10.
They do 10.
They've done 10 a lot in the past. And so it was
at 8.
It was a different number. And it was normally the second to last episode is the penultimate. So it's like the really big thing happens in the second to last episode. And so like that's when the Red Wedding was.
Yeah.
That's when all these other really big things happened in the main series. So then for them to go off of that in the spinoff was anyway.
Well,
Tangent squirrel.
Yeah, but the reason I bring that up is because when you are producing content on a regular schedule, predictable schedule, your audience gets used to that.
Yeah, like we were. We were very used to
it.
That with the regular Game of Thrones show, and then it felt like they didn't stick to it.
Yeah,
So,
and we were salty for 2 weeks. Literally walking to the gym. Remember that? I was like, I'm still mad about that.
still mad. The House of Dragon ended like that.
It was so lame. Anyway,
Ended the season
I'm not going
like
to
that.
spoil it for you because I don't care to
No,
remember how
but it was a dumb ending.
It was stupid.
For the season.
I guess it tracks with Game of Thrones, though.
No, because normally, like, the big thing happens on the second to last
talking
episode.
about dumb endings, though.
Oh, well, yeah, okay. But it's not the ending, so it's okay.
Better not be. Be salty about that, too. Okay.
Yeah.
That's number 1. I have more.
We have lots more.
Okay, so this one I have 17 books written. Now, these are not 150, 200-page books.
No.
These are ebooks. Some of them tripwires, one single-page tripwires. Most of them are books, multiple-page books that we've written, and they take about an hour and a half each, which... to write, which is really cool because most people have a book inside of them that they've been keeping inside for 4 to 5 years. I know I did. And I got to get something out, something published. Now, it's not a big, thick guide or novel or whatever it is. That will come. But the reason it was so important to get these books written is because that is the piece of value me and the coaches I wrote the books for have to deliver to the audience to give value out.
Yeah.
This is the tripwire. This is the lead magnet. This is the thing that makes you a legitimate coach that says, I produce something of value. I can give it to you. And now I can get your name, email, and phone. And now we're part of each other's ecosystem. If you buy, great. But this is the production that we're creating, the PDF.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. I think we're probably going to do more of those this next year with our students. I think the 30 Days to More Stages challenge, I want to write a book for the winner.
Okay. That'd be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So 6 podcasts launched.
I love that.
We launched 6 podcasts this year.
This came from, we were driving back from St. George, Vegas. St. George.
Oh, I remember. We were driving down for WealthCon with Ryan.
That's right. We went to Vegas for WealthCon to be able to go watch Adrian.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to Adrian Hernandez. Love you, dude.
You did great, even though we missed it.
We had a death.
I know
in the
you
family,
did great.
Death
Family
in the
emergency
while we were down there.
Yeah,
and we had to leave early.
But anyway, so on the ride back, I was listening to $100 Million Leads, and I was like, just as I'm listening to this, shout out to Alex Hormozy.
Everyone thinks Richard's his doppelganger, by the way.
Yeah,
if you put yourself in front of in a tank top and a big stack of cash in front of you,
I need to get leaner. I need to get leaner to be more like Alex, like that in a tank top. But still, anyway, well, not only leaner, he is freaking stacked.
That guy's back is wider than his front.
He's
if he
stacked.
puts his arms up, like your front. Like his lats go out to here.
Anyway,
so funny.
So I'm listening to $100 Million Leads, and then all of a sudden I just stop in the middle of the book, pause it, and we, out of nowhere, we were like,
"What if we
just did this?" And we did it, and then we did another one, and now we have our 4th one coming up in February, where we're gonna do podcast launching because this podcast has been so amazing. To be able to launch.
So cool.
And it has generated revenue. Even though it's in the first year, we're going to share some stats about it here in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
where even though we're in the first year and we're like, let's help other people do this because it's the easiest stage to do.
Absolutely. This, if you want to get on stage and start your podcast.
You just need your phone. It doesn't cost anything to upload to Spotify. It doesn't cost anything to upload to YouTube.
That? Like, we have the most easy path. The easy path to, I mean, we don't even pay for cell phone minutes anymore, right? The easiest path for you to get in front of your audience is free.
It's free.
You can start a podcast for free. Now, if you want to upgrade and buy equipment and so forth, like we've done, you can do that.
Yeah, you can do it. I mean, we built this whole studio.
Yeah.
Right? But like, we started with our phone in our bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
And anyone can do that. And now we're 80 episodes in, and we're going to share some of those stats from the podcast. And there's some pretty impressive stats.
I know.
For someone who started with their phone in their bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've been thinking about starting a podcast, just freaking do it.
Just go.
And if you need some help, we've got the courses.
Absolutely.
And the workshops.
Yeah. Okay. So the next one is really cool. When you shared this stat with me, I was like, awesome. Because I sat here in this chair and Deb Gabor sat there in that chair. And she shared with me that she crossed her first 6 figures her first year in business. And I was like, how cool would it be to be able to say that? And then we shared our numbers with each other after we finished recording one day. And we're like, we just did the books for this year.
We did it.
6 figures in revenue the first year.
Surpassed it. But yeah.
Freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Like that was like, okay, all right. No, don't get me wrong. There have been some moments where we're like holding our breath.
Oh, yeah. There have been some moments where it's like, wow, okay, we did really good 3 months ago, but we've done nothing this month.
Yeah.
What's happening?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
That's typical business, you know.
Yeah. Ups and downs.
But now what's cool is that a lot of our members are like, okay, how do I do that?
Yeah.
How do I do that? And now we're like, we can show you how.
Mm-hmm.
We can show you how we did it. We can show you how we helped other people do it. And this year, I really want to shoot for 10X.
Yes, it's going to happen.
10X is easier than 2X. We need to read that book like over the next week or so.
Yeah.
And get this teed up. And I really feel like that Instagram that you sent to me that said, just find that lane that you got really good at and just stick with it for another year. And that will put you at 1 million. You know, what's funny is those the iPhone apps, the little video games where you like, I like to play the ones that you have a little dude and he makes money by like serving pizzas or something, right? But he has to go and cut the meat and then he has to bring the meat to the table and then he has to pour the sauce on the pizza and you're like directing him all around the screen. And then, you know, when you get enough cash, you can buy a machine that cuts the meat for you and then you can buy a server or hire a server. It's scaling. And those games, I have so much fun playing because it teaches business principles.
Yeah.
Right. And now it's not straight across. You have to pay salaries and it's not just a one-time hire a guy thing. But it teaches you this simple idea of keep doing what you're good at and scale it and grow it and hire yourself out. And the point of that Instagram post that you sent to me was when you're first starting in entrepreneurship, you are wearing all the hats. I don't know if there's any really way to avoid that because even if you start off with huge capital, you're wearing enough hats till you train the people to wear the hats for you.
Yeah.
You're always wearing multiple hats as an entrepreneur, but the faster you can hire out and trim down the bulk of what you're doing, the faster the revenue is going to come to you.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm excited about this year. So cheers to us. You hold your imaginary drink up. Chink. Okay. Funnels. This is your brag moment.
Yeah, so we did a lot. All right.
72 fun. Yeah, you got to do this. And I'm going to be dumb and ask you what all of these mean because you built them for me. There's my pen. I found it. That's another win. I made my own pens this year.
There we go.
Isn't that cool?
All right. Just for the Marianne Hickman This Is Me.
Yeah.
72 funnels.
Okay, tell everyone that's listening that doesn't know what a funnel is what a funnel is.
Okay, funnel is like a landing page where someone can either opt in or buy something, and then maybe there's an upgrade or an upsell, and then a downsell, right?
Okay, I'm going to explain it. I was looking for, someone was speaking not English. So in the simplistic terms, let's just say you go to a website or you're on Instagram, right? And you see a free skincare questionnaire.
Yeah.
You click on that and then you take the questionnaire and then it recommends products to you.
That's a funnel.
That's a funnel.
That's
what a funnel is.
Now, I will caveat and say a lot of these funnels were duplicated and then maybe changed a little bit, right?
Well, they're A/B split testing in a lot of cases.
And not even that. It's that's not even going into consideration with this number 72.
Wow.
So this number 72 includes, though, that like we did the speak off 4 times. I duplicated that funnel 4 times.
Yeah.
That goes into this number 72.
And it should, because it's
and
a
it was
new
I
funnel.
created it once, cloned it, and then changed the dates.
Yeah.
Right. So
If we remember to change the dates, there were a couple times.
there were a couple of times where
Whoops.
it's like, oh, I remembered to change it on the desktop view, but not the
The mobile.
mobile view type thing. Yeah. So I'm a lone man.
It is not good. That man should be alone.
Yeah. So 72 funnels. That
That's
doesn't even
awesome.
include what I built for clients.
Yeah, this is not. So we clone our funnels for our speaker clients.
Our
we
speaker
clone it for
clients,
your
a lot of other
clients.
people.
This is just for our business.
Yes. Okay. With that, I built 214 automation workflows to work the back end.
Okay, explain what a workflow is.
Okay. So an automation workflow is like, okay, something happens, a trigger happens.
Give us an example of a trigger.
A trigger could be a form is filled out.
Okay, let's take the skincare thing.
Okay. So you build a funnel, and on the funnel is a form that you fill out your name, email, phone number in order to get a free skincare ebook.
So maybe you take the quiz and they need to email the
Sure.
results to you.
Okay, yeah. So the automation that happens, the trigger is like, okay, you took the quiz. That's the trigger.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're going to do X, Y, and Z based on that trigger. We're
so
going
the thing that sends you the email.
We're going to send you an email. We're going to send you a text message. We're going to wait a day. Then we're going to send a follow-up text message. We're going to wait a day. We're going to see if maybe they booked a call. And if they didn't book a call, we're going to send another text message that tries to get them to book a call type thing.
I have to say, these automations, the workflows that you have built, I have seen an astonishingly high number of companies that are missing this.
It's crazy.
Missing this. Multi-million-dollar companies.
Absolutely
We're talking
crazy.
7, 8-figure companies that don't have
That
this.
don't have this, where it's like, okay, as soon as they fill out a form on a website, I got a text message.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, if you wait more than 5 minutes, that person
Your chances of closing go down by 90%.
That person has moved on. They're thinking about something else.
Yep.
If you don't try and engage that person right away, that's it. You've lost that opportunity most of the time.
Yeah, they're done.
And so, yeah, we built 214 different workflows based on different keywords on social media or text messages, based on forms filled out, based on purchases that were made, all kinds of different triggers. A calendar appointment made, like all kinds of different things. So just imagine trying to do all that by yourself. 214. That is essentially 214 people who are sitting at their desk waiting for something to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then as soon as that thing happens, they get to work and do some things.
Yep.
214 people. One of them is dedicated to waiting for someone to book an appointment on your calendar and then sending them reminders.
Yeah.
3 days before their appointment. 1 day before
With
their
links.
appointment.
Making sure it gets on their calendar, making sure it gets a text message, making sure it gets an email.
One day
follow-up.
before the appointment, they get a text and an email that says, "Hey, just a reminder, your appointment's coming up. If you need to reschedule, here's the link to reschedule. But if not, I'll see you in a day."
Yeah.
That is a huge one.
I was running an 8-figure sales floor without this.
Without that blows me away.
Can you imagine what would have happened?
Yeah.
If we had that?
Yeah. Would have been
Holy
crazy.
cow.
Okay. With all of these automations, with inviting people to events, all kinds of stuff, we have sent 342,000 emails this year.
You're probably like, I know.
I know, right? I get all of them. Yeah. Yes.
Good. We love you. I hope you read them.
342,000 emails.
That means people that give us their email are probably getting an email once or twice a week. If they register for something,
give or take.
If they register for something and they're getting emails about that, it's a little bit more. But we're in constant contact with people.
This one's crazy. You ready for this?
Yeah, hit me with it.
60,000 text messages.
I bet your teenage daughter has the same amount.
We could not have done that without the automations.
No way.
No way. Or without having a huge staff to individually text all these people. No way. 60,000 text messages.
I cannot believe that.
Most of those were reminders to attend events.
Well, sure. Yeah. Like the events in a couple of days.
Yeah.
Or
The events.
The Zoom link.
Yeah. Here's the Zoom link. It starts in an hour type thing. Like those.
We're not spamming people.
No. Okay.
But sometimes we do polls though. If I did this, would you want it? Kind of thing.
Oh yeah. And there's informational text messages that go out and stuff like that. But most of the time they're reminder text messages.
Right.
Okay. We made about 1,300 phone calls that were out of our system to be able to try and follow up with leads, help people get on stage, that kind of stuff.
I would say that number is in reality probably closer to 1,500.
I would say it's much bigger because that does not count what you and
it doesn't count this.
Does not count our cell phone. That counts the system that we use.
System outbound. Yeah.
So
it's probably significantly higher.
This one's crazy. Okay. 11,000 Instagram messages.
Holy mackerel.
And we don't have a ton of Instagram bots.
No, we don't.
We have a couple where it's like, okay, comment the word podcast, comment the word speak, right?
Yeah.
We don't
I think we have half a dozen maybe.
We don't have a ton. Most of those are manual by you or I. 11,000. Okay.
Sent 11,000.
And here's the thing.
Wait. Does that include all of the reels I send you?
Oh, you know what? It might include all of the reels. I'm pretty sure it does include all the reels that we send each other and that the kids send you and all that.
If that's true, I feel it.
Okay, yeah.
That's what I was doing when we opened this podcast, is trying to catch up on those.
But still, think about that. We have 3,400 followers on Instagram.
Let me check.
Something like that.
Oh, there's Renee. I keep checking my phone because I want to see her comments. Renee says she's happy to receive all of the emails.
Oh, good. I'm so glad.
I love you, Renee. We're under 4,000 followers on Instagram.
Under 4,000. Okay, so think about that. Under 4,000 followers on Instagram, yet we broke 6 figures and sent 11,000 messages.
Heads up.
That's
Guys,
crazy.
Your follower count has nothing to do with your revenue.
Nothing to do with it.
I have seen multi-million follower accounts
that don't make as much money as we do.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The number of followers you have has nothing to do with your success.
I think that people
stop focusing on that number.
Gosh, for sure. We made the mistake of focusing on follower count for a while.
For a while.
It's a social credit score, I will say. However, I will also say that if I meet people that are between the 3,000 and 7,000 follower count, you know what I think? They're a real person.
Yeah, for sure.
They're probably going to check their messages.
There's not a team behind it. That's an individual person.
Yeah.
Barney, you okay, bud?
He's having like an asthma attack.
Oh. How do you have allergies, bro? It's December.
No. I think he's allergic to himself. Poor dog.
I'm sorry if you can hear our dog sneezing in the background.
I was on a Zoom call a couple of days ago, and I'm like, listen.
Barney.
I'm listening to the speaker. They're presenting. It's a hot seat call. And there's yesterday. Oh, you poor boy. And they're presenting. Oh my gosh. And these dogs are so protective of me. They follow me everywhere. If you get up first thing in the morning and not me, they don't care. They'll stay with me, even if their bladders are full.
They don't care.
They'll follow me everywhere. So I'm like, just bring it down.
But if you get up and I stay in bed.
Oh, they're following me.
They're following you.
Oh, yeah. So when I put the baby to bed, he'll sit outside the door and whine. So I just bring him with me to the studio.
Barney, are
He's
you
still
okay,
sneezing, buddy. Oh my gosh. I hope you can hear that. It's going to make way more sense. Anyway, so we're on the hot seat call and he falls asleep. And this dog is an old man.
Yes.
And he snores like it.
The dog is 13 years old.
And so he's like, Anna's speaking and she's delivering this amazing keynote about how weighted blankets saved her life when she was alone, cold in a dark bedroom. And over here, my screen is lighting up and getting highlighted with this.
Yeah, the dog is snoring loud enough that it takes you over as the speaker on Zoom. Oh my gosh.
So great.
I will say.
Oh my gosh. Renee says Barney needs a Rife session.
Yeah, right.
That probably works, doesn't it?
I wonder, with a dog.
Are the frequencies the same?
I don't know. I wonder.
Renee, teach me.
Yeah.
Teach me the ways.
I'll just throw it out there. Our dog is named Barney, not because of the purple dinosaur, but because I love the show How I Met Your Mother. And 13 years ago when I got this dog, I really loved How I Met Your Mother. And so I named my two dogs Ted and Barney. But Ted passed away recently, unfortunately. It was really sad.
Make me cry.
Yeah, I love that dog. But we still have Barney. And
We saw Barney. I didn't know that would hit me.
yeah, I love Barney. And
So
Ted.
we said goodbye to Ted this year.
Yeah.
He was the run to the litter. He was honestly like...
He was sick most of his life, it
sick
seemed.
a lot.
He was really off.
He was depressed.
He was always the whiner. He always seemed a little different and a little off.
Yeah.
Because he was the runt, and he had that unfortunate accident when he was a puppy.
That was so sad.
He was never the same. So
like,
okay,
do you need a doggy breakthrough?
Squirrel. Story time. So Ted, when he was younger, we kept him in the downstairs like storage area when we would go to work. And
with Barney, they were together.
With Barney, they weren't alone, and it wasn't like forever, like a couple hours.
Everyone does it.
And so, but we forgot that we left a glue trap for mice with peanut butter in the room. And we come back.
Spoiler alert.
We come back from work that day, and the glue trap is just across his face.
He's probably trying to wipe it off and
He's
just
been
mush
trying to get it off. It traumatized this dog.
Poor dog.
And then we had to try and get this glue trap off of a fur face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you use oil or anything?
Well, yeah, we used oil. We used peanut butter. We used all kinds of stuff. Goo Gone a little bit. Like, we did not just rip it off this dog's face. No way. We didn't do that.
Poor
But it took
boy.
some work, and that dog was never the same after that day.
He just walks around with his ears back.
Just ears
all
back,
the time.
ears down all the time, really sad,
He
just kind of whining.
Just kidding.
Anyway, but I love that dog nonetheless.
He's
But
a sweet boy. He's buried in the
he got
backyard.
sick and he didn't make it.
Don't let your dog eat tampons.
Yeah.
We don't know if that's
do
what. Like,
I don't think that was
I don't
really
think
it.
that was it. It didn't help.
It
He
definitely
was
didn't
already
help,
weak, and
but-
throwing up didn't help.
Yeah.
But
Okay, next one is for you.
Renee also says that you can Rife sessions on the dog.
Okay.
And you can infuse water with frequencies.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Teach me the ways. Okay. Calls, Instagram messages. Okay. New members.
New members of the Mastery Hive.
This is really cool. Is this just Mastery Hive? Does this include other things that we've done too?
Just Mastery Hive.
Okay. So just Mastery Hive. And we do have some side auxiliary products that people can
We have
purchase.
lots of other products and that people can purchase.
But these are like members of our recurring program that we get to hang out with.
One of them. We have two recurring programs.
We have two recurring
We have the
programs.
daily accountability call that's daily.
Is
and
anyone on the call that's not?
Not anymore. For a long time until October, there were several members of the daily accountability call that were not members of the Mastery Hive.
But now everyone's
But
in
now
the Mastery Hive. Or everyone's on an accountability call.
Daily accountability call, they're also in the Mastery Hive.
Okay.
But anyway, sorry.
No, it's okay. 44 new members.
44 total members. Some of them were already members before because we launched right before the new year, I believe.
I thought we launched.
Maybe we launched this after the new year,
I think we did.
Anyway, 44 total members. There's a little attrition in there, but
Yeah.
44.
That's almost a new member a week,
Almost.
which is really, really cool.
Yeah.
Now, it didn't happen that way. We didn't get a new member a week. It was like a batch here, and we would throw an event and have
Pretty
another
much
batch.
an event, a webinar. We'd get several new members every time. But yeah.
Which is really cool. I like it that way because people join together and they can see each other's progress and they can say, okay, I joined at the same time this person. We can kind of collaborate and not compete, but now I can see what's possible in the same amount of time. So that's really cool.
We have a lot of members that, interestingly enough, we have a lot of members that never attend a call.
It's really strange. Some people are members just because they want the CRM.
They want the CRM. They want the Go High Level. I think we had a couple people join Lifetime at the last time we offered Lifetime. Pretty sure they joined only for the Go High Level.
Well, it was a steal.
But it was a steal.
So we're not doing that again.
We don't do that.
I don't mind providing a steal.
No, but
I don't. But as a business owner, You don't sell something as a lifetime program that you have continual operating expenses on.
Yeah. And that
That's
was
the deal.
It was a mistake that we made. I don't think that we'll ever have a problem with it, but
No, I don't think so.
there have been other go high level agencies that sold lifetime memberships and then closed down.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
And then all these people,
they're left high and dry.
they're stuck. They're like, I paid for a lifetime membership, but your agency is gone. So now I have to start paying again.
Well, and that wasn't necessarily our scenario. Our scenario was like, okay, so let's take a look at our business expenses, operating costs every month. And we're like, okay, we pay for a Zoom account because we have the upgraded version, and we pay for a couple of other media or soft pieces of software that I think with a total was like, somewhere around $1,000 a month for the things that it costs to operate the Mastery Hive. And we're like, okay, so we had one event where we got everyone, we offered lifetime, and it was great. It was a no-brainer. And then we ended the event. And we're like, oh my gosh, it was so cool. We met the most amazing people. And then we did the numbers, and we're like, okay, we're fine, but we won't do that again because it's not sustainable.
It's not sustainable to be able to take cash up front, but then maybe 5 years down the road have to keep providing for this person. Like, there's costs on our end.
Yeah, like the Zoom
and
software.
5 years later, we've spent the money that they gave us.
Yeah, it's long gone.
It's long gone.
Yeah.
5 years later, we still have costs for fulfilling for this person.
Now, if you are selling a lifetime access to a one-time delivery, like you recorded a digital course and you put it on YouTube private, and you gave them lifetime access to that.
Even in something like Kajabi or Go High Level, it's like they have lifetime access to that.
Well, as long as you keep your Kajabi
membership. I guess, yeah.
But what I'm saying is, like, you can provide lifetime services. That's not off the table. But as a business owner, if you're providing lifetime services at a one-time fee and it costs you to fulfill that duration, that's a mismatch.
Yes, and that's why we've pulled that back. I think a lot of people probably thought, oh, they're just saying they're never doing lifetime again. But
no, we're not, though. We're not on that.
We're never doing lifetime again. That's a dumb business decision to offer lifetime services that have ongoing costs to fulfill when you only take money up front.
It doesn't make sense.
As a business owner. That does not make sense.
So we had a few lucky people get in a lifetime, and they're in with us.
A couple of people got in, and we will fulfill.
Oh, of course. Yeah, we're going to stick around and be members of our word and do that. But we just want to do it again. We learned that lesson very inexpensively.
Inexpensive mistake.
So as far as that goes, as far as like lifetime memberships and all that, that'll come back to me. I had a thought I wanted to share on that, but it flew away. So Peaked Consulting, though. So this is another really cool thing. So we thought at the beginning of the year that we would do sales as a teaching mechanism and teach that. We decided not to, but this other thing kind of bubbled up to the surface and ended up being a really cool service that I don't touch very much of. I support it. I use it. But you have taken this CRM service and solved so many problems for so many business owners, and it's become its own business.
Yes.
It's incredible.
It kind of happened by accident. So we started out using ClickFunnels.
We did.
We started out using ClickFunnels, and then we were combining HubSpot and ClickFunnels, and they didn't talk to each other very well.
No. The reason we started with the ClickFunnels is because I had been in the ClickFunnels world.
Yes.
I have a 2 Comma Club award poster upstairs, and we're like, okay, this is a credibility build. Let's do this thing. And then we're like,
but it was not working quite the way we wanted to. And then I got introduced to Go High Level on a completely different thing, and I was like, this is actually pretty cool. I think I'm going to go through the effort of rebuilding all of our ClickFunnels funnels and our website and everything. I'm going to rebuild it and Go High Level. And then I'm going to get rid of HubSpot and I'm going to combine them into Go High Level.
By the way, we're still paying for HubSpot.
No.
Is it over?
It's done. So we did, in December of 2023, I committed to 1 year of HubSpot.
On a monthly month.
On a 1 year contract, but paying month to month.
Right.
Because it was like, we're never going to leave HubSpot, right?
Yeah.
Well, we built our business on HubSpot. I had used it before.
You loved it. I started using it at another company. It was
and so we were like,
great.
we're going to build our business on HubSpot. And then I got introduced to Go High Level, and I was like, yeah, it's worth the $30, $40, $50 a month.
Sunk cost
to not use it anymore.
Yeah.
And I even was doing like HubSpot as a service for other clients.
Mm-hmm.
And I even convinced them to abandon HubSpot and go high level.
Now, I don't remember who introduced you to it, but the funny thing was, in this other company that I was a part of, the concept of go high level was introduced at the company. And everyone in this company was so set in our ways, myself included, that we poo-pooed all over go high level. And not because the unfortunate part is we didn't give it a fair trial.
Yeah.
We didn't give it a fair trial. And the other unfortunate thing was, get this, marketing was running on one CRM. Fulfillment was running on another CRM. Sales was running on another CRM. And we're all using different parts of this. Like Kajabi held some of the stuff, and there was some ClickFunnels stuff over here, and HubSpot, and Keep, and another CRM that took care of communications. There was an expense, and I think it was $144,000 a year.
Probably more.
That was just for the comms.
Yeah.
That was just for comms, communications, outbound, inbound, and internal, because all of the different departments were utilizing, like Frankensteining, different pieces and parts of a CRM. And now that I'm looking backwards, I'm like,
you could have combined it all into go high level. We could have done it
all in go high level, all of it, and saved six figures.
Guess how much go high level is? $97 a month.
$7 a month. Plus
for
utilities.
The whole thing. Yes, there is usage fees.
Yeah, you have to pay for text. And
you have to pay for the text and emails, but the system, I bet that company was paying 5 figures a month for HubSpot, probably.
Oh, yeah.
5 figures a month.
Not only that, but they were capped at the number of contacts.
Yeah.
You had to upgrade your account.
You have to pay more per month for every contact. You don't have to do that with HubSpot. But anyway, with high level.
Away.
So
I need to ask the universe and everyone that I poo-pooed on Hubs, like go high level for forgiveness.
Yeah.
Because I poo-pooed on it too. Because we're like, this is working. We can't break it. We can't disrupt it. And we were paying through the nose for it.
But I learned to go high level very quickly. Because I have a lot of experience in other programs, I'm a tech guy, that I was able to build out the speaker stuff very well, I think, at least, in high level. And then
fast.
And then we had several people who were like, can you do that for me? And now this
just today it happened, by the way.
Yeah, another person.
Yeah,
another person.
On Threads was like, your automations are sick.
Yeah. And so we had a bunch of people come up to us and say, can you build that for me? And so now this go high level / marketing automation agency was born by accident. And that has now spawned, how
41.
many is it? 41. We have 41 customers that we manage their CRM for.
And there's one indicator that tells us that this is an incredible product, an incredible service. It's a product and a service because you help the people that enroll with you. And it's the number of clients that have come through referrals for you.
I have not paid a single dime in advertising for this CRM stuff.
That's a good sign.
It has been purely organic and word of mouth.
You don't even have an Instagram for this.
No, I have nothing. I've posted about it on my personal account a few times, and then you've talked about it. We've posted about it in Connect Utah. Shout out Roger. You have an amazing group. Connect Utah, a couple other things. But other than that,
it's not even a flagship of ours.
No, it's our like side hustle that you could say.
Yeah.
But it's still huge. It's a huge part of what we do and will likely surpass what we do.
It probably will.
Yeah.
And I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
It's not like we're in competition.
This might sound a little braggy. It's not meant to be braggy. It's meant to show you that you put effort into something and something amazing can happen. That's all you got to do. You have a good idea. You're good at something. Put some effort into it and amazing things can happen.
And I like to use the analogy of pottery. Have you ever thrown pottery?
I've never done that.
Not like crash pottery against the wall. But
the most pottery that I've done is like Color Me Mine.
Which is fun. Well, we should do that.
We should do that again. Color Me Mine. They've already created the pottery for you. You just paint it.
Yeah, yeah.
So I took an art class in high school.
Yeah.
And I created that little green pot with the football.
Yeah.
That's awful. Yeah.
I love that
I
thing.
created that. That's the most pottery I've done.
So
is that. That was where you like roll it into little snakes.
Yeah, that's hand like
and then
molded.
you mold it together and then you smooth out the sides.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what that is.
Adorable.
That is not. I did not spin that.
No.
I've never thrown pottery. I've never done that.
So when I was dating myself really hard, I went into Airbnb experiences and just tried everything that was there. And I found this place called The Kiln, which started in someone's garage, and now they have a standing. They have some retail space down in Brigham's Landing. We should go there sometime. Anyway, so went to this guy's garage, and I've never seen Ghost, but I imagine that was like.
That's so funny. You've never seen that movie. That was like my mom's favorite. It was one of my mom's favorites. I've seen it a million times.
But I'm like,
even though I would never show that movie to our kids.
Oh,
I would never show that movie to our kids.
No. But
I saw it as a kid a million times.
That's so funny. So I was like dating myself, right? And I'm throwing this pottery. Anyway, so this is going somewhere. Trust me. I had this idea in my head for when I wanted to create, but I had never done this before. There were so many things. Like the moment you throw down the clay, it's determined before you start the wheel if that pot is going to work or not. Because if you don't throw down your clay in the very center of that wheel, when it starts to spin, it's going to go gung, 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 and it's going to be off center, and you can't make it something out of anything when it's off center. Even then, when you throw it down, what you start making with your hands never turns out like the finished product in your brain, because the clay is going to move and mold and have a mind of its own.
Yeah.
And I equate that to business all the time. And most people don't even start putting clay on the wheel because they're too afraid that it won't turn out to be the pot that they envisioned in their head. However, if you are just willing to throw something down, mold with it, move with it, just like this CRM thing that it suddenly just sprung up. This is a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
Because we were moving and we were manipulating what we had and we went with the flow, something amazing took shape.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't what we expected, but it was probably better.
It's turned out to be really good.
Yeah. Anyway, so again, the theme of this episode is just start. Okay, so that's a lot of the business wrapped that we have. I want to go, we mentioned one fail. I want to quickly cover the other two fails that we had this year. In fact, there was an event.
Two fails.
There was an event that Sean Finnegan invited us to. We were going out of town that day, I think, but it was called Fail Fest, I think, something like that. And the entire event was all about business entrepreneurs getting up there and saying how they crashed and burned. Right? And I was like, oh, I'm so bummed I missed that. I have so many stories I could tell. But the two this year for us that I kind of talked to you about it on Instagram as I was getting ready. But number one was our med spa that we sadly had to close down. I was so bummed because it felt like we were just barely, like, almost breaking even.
We weren't quite breaking even.
You were in that more than me.
We were on the way there. We were increasing.
The trajectory
we were starting to get better. We were starting to get some traction. But I don't want to get into it.
We won't get all the nitty gritty details. There's a lot of people involved, and it's not quite shaken out yet.
It was a crapshoot, though, and it was a perfect storm of bad situations and scenarios. And I feel really bad for a lot of people that were involved in it.
Yeah, there's some still dangling participles, if you will, that are not tied up and buttoned up yet.
Yeah.
But I think
we'll get there.
We'll get there. Yeah, the biggest lesson for me in closing that down and having to say goodbye to that was due diligence.
Due diligence. Do not take people for their word.
No. Even if you know, like, and trust them, trust but verify.
Yeah.
Trust but verify. That's been one of the things that my mom has taught me since I was a very little kid is, even if, and you and I have come up with this in our marital conversations sometimes.
Yeah.
Yes, I trust you and I want to see the numbers. Like, show me how. And the reason for that is this, because you know this. You can take any data and interpret the data. Everyone's going to interpret data differently.
It's like statistics.
It's just
statistics.
Like stats.
You can take statistics and you can pump it through this guy's algorithm and make it look like this, or this guy's algorithm and make it look like this. That's what I learned from my business stats class in college, is that stats are garbage.
And it doesn't even have to be malicious.
No.
Right?
It's just like, oh, we're going to run it through this guy's algorithm. That was the part that blew me away. In my mind, stats is mean, median, and mode. But it's not.
No, it's not.
It's not.
Take a look at our Instagram followers, for example. If you look at that Instagram followers and I look at that Instagram followers, we're both going to see the same number. but what it means could be very different things for both of us.
Yeah.
Which is why trust and verify, even in marriage, is really important. It's not that I don't trust you. It's just that I want to see the numbers and then understand why you're interpreting it that way. And because I might interpret it differently. And that doesn't mean one of us is wrong. It just means we are looking at the same thing with two different perspectives, which is very important. And in business, that due diligence comes in with, I need to know, like, and trust my business partner and show me the data that you're pulling your opinions from.
Well, and this is what I'll say are the two biggest lessons that I learned from that med spa. Number one is, if you're buying a franchise, make sure that franchise has everything ready to where it's plug and play.
They have a media or a marketing department.
They have a marketing
department.
They have proven ads, lead gen, all of that kind of stuff. Otherwise, why are you buying a franchise?
Yeah.
You might as well go start your own business. If you have to go create all of that after you bought a franchise, you're not buying a franchise. You're buying a logo, right?
Yeah.
That was number one biggest lesson. Number two, my opinion, if you're going to buy a franchise, but be an owner operator, don't bother buying a franchise.
Yeah.
Just start your own business.
Yeah. Agreed.
If you're going to buy a franchise and put an operator in place, then yes, buy the franchise, because they will have all the operations if they actually have everything, right?
Yeah. If rule number one is there.
If rule number one is satisfied and you're going to put an operator in place instead of doing it yourself, then that's great. But if you're just going to go be your own operator inside a franchise, don't waste your money on a franchise fee. Go start your own business.
How many hours would you say you spent there in a year?
I don't know.
It was
thousands. I was there more than full time.
Yeah.
And it was supposedly a franchise that had all these systems in place, but we were writing our own documentation. We were writing our own protocols and procedures. We were coming up with our own marketing.
Integrated our own CRM.
We integrated our.
They didn't have a CRM.
I created my own CRM for the business.
Hey, did you know that I put
all of these things? And that's not a CRM. That's not a franchise.
I put all the money.
We bought a logo.
I actually did something for you. I put all the money we made from that business in my pocket.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Here.
Want to see?
Yes. Thank you. Oh, I love it. Let's go to dinner tonight. There's so much money in my hand right now. You can't see it.
Neither can I.
Neither can we. But it's amazing.
Good joke.
Okay. Other business.
Yeah. So this other business that we had, I was so enchanted by this business.
I was too. I loved it.
I loved it. When I went to Cambodia with our oldest years ago, I went to a spa is a generous word. It's a third world country.
Yeah.
It was seriously, the entire business could have fit in this room.
It was a customer experience location.
I got to tell you,
it was not a spa.
Not a spa.
It was
that was in the name.
It was an experience location.
When I was in Cambodia, I walked from our hotel, and it was like dirt and concrete sidewalk, more dirt than concrete. There were like pieces of it left. And then I walked past this place and I saw fish tanks facing the sidewalk. There's no windows or doors. You're just open air, right? It's somewhere between an open air market and a strip mall kind of a thing. And with no English, I saw these tanks and I saw these people sticking their feet in the tanks and there and the little fish nibbling on their feet. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. Now, hygiene was probably not a thing. I didn't wash my feet before I got in there. I didn't wash my feet after I got out. But I climbed up on these steps and I put my feet in the tank and it was like, oh my gosh, this is such a unique, novel experience. How cool. And then years pass and we found this little place that did this right here in Provo.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this is so cool. And then it came up for sale.
Yep.
And we thought we did our due diligence on it.
Yes. This was the big thing that I learned from this was it always takes more time than someone tells you.
And more money.
Anything
that you're going to invest in always takes more time.
They
and more
told
money.
us that they were spending 2 to 3 hours a week on this business.
Yeah.
I think it was a crock of shit. I think they were full of it. There is no way in hell that they were making the money that they were only spending 2 to 3 hours a week.
Yeah.
I don't
now,
believe it.
Now, the numbers I think were real.
Well, yeah, they didn't fabricate their
the numbers were real. Speaking of data,
their revenue.
right?
They didn't fabricate their revenue. They had a third party, CPA firm
Okay,
that
yeah.
wrote
So
a
the
letter
numbers are
to
real.
us and signed off
Yeah.
on. Like, I believed the numbers.
Yeah.
I do not believe
The time
the
investment.
time investment that they told us.
And maybe they intentionally misrepresented.
I don't
maybe
know.
not.
I'm not accusing anything.
No, we're not accusing anyone
But
of anything.
what I am saying
in order
is,
for us to make it successful, it needed more of our
when
time.
we put in the amount of time that they told us that they were
Wasn't
putting
enough.
in, it fell apart.
It did. And a transition in ownership also is hard on a business.
And we knew that, and we put in some extra time in the transition.
Yeah.
But then we backed out, and we were like, okay, manager, you're good. Like, you got everything? You're good? Okay. And we'd have like a once a week meeting, and everything seemed to be going okay. And it slowly just went downhill.
We were told things were going okay.
Yeah, and it just didn't work.
Part of my heartburn on that, and maybe this is showing my ego a little bit, I was like, if I was in charge, this would not be happening.
Well, yeah,
but I couldn't be in charge.
But then you needed the time.
I could not be there.
If you were in charge, you wouldn't have been putting in 2 to 3 hours a week.
If any one of the four of us,
had
taken this chance and said, "This is my full time,"
and then
40 hours
one
a
of
week.
us did, and it was
I don't know
able
if she
to
was
keep
there full time.
It wasn't full time, but anyway, she put in a lot of work. Our
and
partner
she saved that thing,
and she saved it for as long as we did, and we were able to make it to where then the lease ran out. This is really what happened. The lease ran out, and we were like, "Listen,
the location's too big.
We can't. We are putting more money into this than we're taking out of it."
Yeah.
So
at that point, we got in the red.
So this one, I wouldn't say we've officially shut down yet.
No, the door's
we have put
closed.
a big pause on this one.
This one's taking a time out.
And it's like, okay, we know that this one it can make money. It has made money.
Proof.
We have proof. We don't have the time to put into it right now.
Yeah.
So everything's in our garage, and we will reopen one day.
Yes. And I'm excited about that because
I am too.
It would be.
I think there's a lot of potential for this one.
Yeah, there is so much potential.
Which is why we bought it in the first place.
A fun project. People love it. We have a 30,000 person email list. We have the client base.
Yeah.
We have the customers. We know so much about this.
Well, and
All
I know so much more about marketing now. That, I think that we could run ads and then have bots like what I just built working to be able to book people, and we would probably get way more bookings and make way more money.
And taking everything we learned from running our speaker business and maybe starting a podcast with this thing.
Yes.
I would be stoked
to run podcast, do better with our social.
Worst first dates podcast.
Yeah. Because I mean, that's what a lot of people did, at least in Provo. That's what a lot of those.
Yeah.
A lot of the people there were college students on dates.
So we're looking forward to the day that we can reopen doors in a better location that's better suited for the business, because it really is a fun thing. We employed our kids there; they had a blast. Addie could manage that thing so well.
Yeah,
she was.
It was a good experience. It's just on pause.
Yeah, it's on pause, and that was a time thing.
Yeah, and I would say that yes, that was kind of a failure, but we've learned a ton. Mm-hmm. We've learned a ton from other businesses that we can apply to this one when we're ready to reopen it.
Just to be aware, though, that business made $30 yesterday.
Oh, yes, because we sold some old equipment. Yeah, whole $30 went into the checking account to be able to work on the negative balance.
I know, right? Oh, boy. Okay, so that's a 2024 wrapped for business. Our family, and I said earlier that the line between business and family for us is beautifully blurred.
Yes.
And I like it that way.
Me too.
And the reason I like it that way is because not only are our kids, Addie worked at Fish Kiss for a while, and Sienna and Addie have both worked on the management or the staff for the speaker company business and all that. Our kids are part of our family and they're part of our business because we build together, and we are part of their business too. Mm-hmm. Every Saturday or every other Saturday, I'm there helping Addie with her business, and we're helping Sienna build her website. She just got a fantastic lead yesterday from you. And what I think is so beautiful about that is there is no longer the tension for me in my heart of mom versus business owner. It is a collaboration, and that is a harmony that I have worked so hard on building. As we're watching the show Lioness, it touches on this theme of career mom versus available mom. And it's very polarizing because the main character is in a must be gone from home career path.
That's the nice thing about this is we do everything from home.
We're doing everything from home. We're in our home right now. This is a podcast studio in our home. And with this set of wins for us, we want to include our family in that because we know a lot of entrepreneurs have families. And that's the reason we're entrepreneurs, so that we can have more time with our families. And I feel like this is one of the toughest things I've tried to measure. It's been very based on a feeling of, do I feel good about this today?
of the harmony that we find as parents, as spouses. That's one of the other wins I wanted to put in here is we've kept our date nights in check this year.
We've missed a couple.
Yeah.
We've not been 100%, but we've been like
we've
95.
them. Yeah.
We've
Even
been
those,
like 95, 98%.
I've been very protective of that. So our family wins are very much intertwined with our business wins.
Yes.
And so our 2024 wrapped for our families, we had a kid move out this year. Our oldest moved out. And that was like, I had this moment, we were driving on the freeway. I do a lot of thinking on the freeway. And I was like, did I do good enough job as a mom? Because my time with her as a mom is over. Not that I'm not going to be her mom. That's not what I mean. But again, back to this lioness thing. This moment when the daughter's in the hospital and the mom's talking to her, the mom says, the moments where we can punish you for doing the wrong things, those times are over. The only thing I can do now is give you advice.
And hope you take it.
And I think about that with our oldest a lot. Like there's no penalties or punishments that I can use to direct you on your path anymore. That's the time for that is over. In some cases we won together. In some cases we lost, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Because life is full of that. But the best thing I can do right now is give advice. And my measuring stick for whether or not I'm a successful mom is, does she ask for my advice? Am I trusted enough by her?
And the answer is yes.
Me? Yeah, and
she
just came over yesterday.
Yeah, she comes over and she asks for help all the time.
Yeah.
Asks for advice, talks to you, talks to me about things too. Yeah.
So that was a win.
Yeah.
I think that was a win for us. We had 2 of our kids start businesses. We pushed all of them to.
And I would say that they've kind of tried. Like, we're not counting like our boy walking around the neighborhood and offering to like pressure wash the garbage cans or sell cookies. Like, that doesn't count.
Well, he's made money doing it.
He's made money doing it, but
fleshed it out.
We're not counting that in this stat.
No.
This 2 kids starting businesses is they've actually started something and continued it on and made ongoing money. Yes. Not just a one day I went and made money selling something door to door.
All of our kids have done that, by the way.
Yes, all of them have.
That's a cool thing to be able to say.
Yes.
We push that as in our homeschooling. We entrepreneurialize the kids.
Yeah.
And, our youngest, our 9-year-old, has made money doing odd jobs here and there, more than just chores around the house. She's gone out and turned in aluminum from collecting cans. And she's
bought like big boxes of Capri Suns.
She sells those.
And then she goes to the park and like a box of Capri Suns, $5, but it comes with like 15 Capri Suns. And she goes to the park and she sells them for $2 a piece.
Yeah.
She makes good money.
She's great money in the summer.
Makes good money in the summer selling Capri Suns at the park.
Yeah, it's great.
Because we only live a block from the park.
And our son, same thing. But our oldest at home too, not including our daughter that's moved out, they have started businesses with a customer base, with, in some cases, a pop-up shop. It's been really, really cool to watch our daughter with her crochet business and our other daughter with her art business. Yeah. She's getting commission pieces.
Commission pieces as an artist.
Commission pieces this year.
Yeah.
Great. So cool. And I'm so excited to introduce her to our Mastery Hive members, because there's a member in there he's throwing the idea of starving artists in the garbage can because he's getting paid 5 figures for his art work. Yeah. And we have another Ryan Smith, the photographer, who's making 5 figures.
He's not in the Mastery Hive, but he's doing.
No, but he's one of our other clients.
He's one of our other clients with the CRM stuff.
So if you're an artist, don't buy into the idea you have to be starving.
No. With him, I think it's fascinating. He makes 8 figures with his art, and that's his side gig.
Yeah, right?
That's his side hustle.
Ugh. I wish I had figured that out when I first started photography.
Anyway.
Okay, so a couple of our other stats. I want to talk about our ad spend and how that's converted into leads.
Here, I can talk about that.
And then I'm going to take over for the best performing post of the year as measured by comments.
Ad spend. So we're still a small business. We spent about 2 to 3% of our annual revenue on ads, right? So with that, we paid about $10 a lead.
Yeah.
For those leads that we purchased, right? Spending on ad spend. It's about, so anyway, but the cool thing with that is that our LVG, can never remember it, lifetime gross profit, LTGP, lifetime gross profit of someone who subscribes to the Mastery Hive is over $1,500.
So that's great. If we're going to swap
Yeah,
$10 for
$10 for $1,500.
But the closing
right?
ratio is what we need to really take a look at on that.
Right. But there's more than just those who subscribe. There's people who just buy a $30 course.
Or a $50 thing, or a $200 thing.
Yeah, right.
Our little profit centers that aren't our
average
offerings.
spend per customer is about $350.
Which is cool.
Yes.
So the more leads that convert, the better off we are.
Yes. So
just like in any business.
that's where we're at on marketing wise.
Oh, our lights just gave up. Gave up the ghost.
Sophie.
Was that Sophie?
That was Sophie. That was the dog.
The dog turned off the lights. Okay, so she's like, yes. Highest performing post this year as measured by comments. It wasn't a reel. It wasn't a.
Yeah, we're not going by views. We don't count
views. I don't care.
Views don't count.
I mean, that's great when
Doesn't
they go
matter.
viral, but views don't make you money.
They don't.
Okay. And like I said, followers don't necessarily make you money
No.
either. It's followers that convert into leads, which convert into customers, which converts into revenue.
Views don't matter.
Followers don't matter.
Followers don't matter. Engagement matters.
Engagement matters. So the top performing post this year with, I believe last time I checked, it was 2,000 comments on that thing.
Huge.
2,000 comments was a CTA post, a call to action post. That was just one of our regular old podcast database giveaways. I went into a Facebook group, and like I do this all the time. Go into a Facebook group and I share my tripwire, which basically means to say I go in there and say, hey, I've got a database of over 800 podcasts. They're all looking for guests. All of them have promised not to charge for their guests, by the way. If you want it, let me know. So,
and we give it away for free.
And we give it away for free. In the comments, I just say, comment below if you want it. So what I do in the comments is I go in the comments and I engage and I respond to the comment and say, hey, it's in your messenger. Check your messenger. Now, this is a bit of a manual process. We haven't fully automated this yet, but there's a part of me that gets like a little dopamine hit, like I'm playing a video game.
Because you
every
can't,
time.
here's the tech nerd coming in. You can't automate comment responses when it's a group you don't own.
Right. In a group you own.
In a group you own, there
might
are
be able
tools
to.
out there that you can do that. But if it's someone else's group, you cannot automate comments and DMs based on comments and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
you just can't do it.
But it is a good ROI activity because all of
yeah.
these people turn into leads
Yeah.
for us. So here, I got to explain this though. If I go into a group and I drop something and the comments start rolling in, this post I got 2,000 comments. Not all of those are customers. So half of those comments are me responding, but Facebook still counts it
Yeah.
as a comment, which increases what's called your social credit score, which is basically to say if someone sees that there's 2,000 comments on there, they're more likely to drop their own comment, which and then brings you another lead.
Well, and the algorithm is just going to feed that
It's going
thing.
to push it like crazy.
It's like, oh, 2,000 people commented on this thing. I'm going to drop it into everyone's feed
their news
that's
feed.
in this group.
Exactly.
Right?
So it's not only in their group feed, but it's also showing up in their regular
home feed.
home feed. So this one was interesting because, so let's just say that half the comments are me responding. That means there's 1,000 people that commented, yes, I want this thing. Now in this group in particular, there were some spam bots
Oh, yeah.
in there. And so I'm going to cut that down by another 300 and say of the 2,000 comments, there were probably about 700 actual users. And I'm going to say, I'm guessing here, because I haven't done the math, but based on what we saw as far as lead flow come in, I'm saying about a half to a third of those 700 people followed through and actually texted us
Yeah.
the word podcast. So we got about, of the 2,000 comments, 700 being real people. I would say we had about 300-ish of those people turn into leads. But
Yeah.
that's one Facebook post that cost me nothing.
Yeah. Nothing.
And we do that about once a week.
Yeah.
On average. Some weeks we don't. 'Cause
Not
we're
with
catching up.
2,000 comments.
No. But we make a post like that about once a week. And if you watch my Threads account, you'll see that it's about every 10 days now I go in. We just made a post yesterday and we are at, let me go to Threads and
Last time I checked, we were like 70-ish comments.
we're well past that now. We are now at 102.
102 comments.
102 comments on there. Again, half of those are us responding. But how many of you want 50 new leads with a single post?
Yeah.
And by the way, when I started doing this on Threads, I had 42 followers. I now have over 1,000, which just means more exposure. But again,
It's going to be funny when you have more followers on Threads than you do on Instagram.
on Instagram. Oh my gosh. Again, but the follower count doesn't matter. My followers matter. I love my followers.
Yes.
The follower count is meaningless.
Doesn't mean anything.
Meaningless in terms of revenue. So that was our best performing post. That is our Wrapped for 2024.
Okay.
I do kind of want to go through these other things that we promised to deliver on before we wrap up our episode. How do you feel about that?
I'm great with that. We have a lot we still promised. I have to go to the bathroom.
You want to take a TT break?
I'm going to take a TT break. I'm going to go to the bathroom. Why don't you read some of the comments, maybe go through some wins while I go to the bathroom.
Okay.
We'll come back. That way we don't have to cut out the middle.
Yeah.
But I'll be back in just a minute.
Okay. After these messages, we'll be right back. I really wish there was a mic. It just looks at me and says no. Okay, so I want to share with you, I'm going to skip to our last section and share the wins that we had from our Mastery Hive members. So I went into our school community and I asked for the wins. I've been doing that a lot this year. I do that quite often. And I've also gone into our free communities and said, what are you winning at? How are you winning by being part of this community? So this is what we've got so far. Christy Hunter, she is one of the most active members of our community. She is an amazing concert keynote speaker, which means when she speaks, she also sings. And this is what she shared. She said she started an event series this year, which means she is hosting her own events multiple times over. And she's had guests appear on those stages. So not only has she started speaking and singing, but she's also providing stages for other people, which is incredible. She has released 10 new songs this year, just released a new one over Christmas. She's given her concert keynote speech 4 different times this year. She's also had 20 podcast appearances. That's one almost every other week. 20 stages through podcasts. And most importantly, for Christy's sustainability for her business and the people that she serves, she's had 45 new students this year. 45 new students. Again, almost a student a week. So way to go, Christy. I hope I'm going to say your name right because I read it on Facebook all the time. Gianna Nunes spoke on stage for the first time this year. Pretty dang incredible. Congratulations. Renee, we started with one-on-one coaching. Renee's been really active on our live here as well. She's one of our 6 podcasts that we started. So she started on a podcast and she will tell you that she is a self-proclaimed tech-tard, which means she used to struggle really hard with technology. And I love that she shares that because it means that even if you struggle with technology, you can start a podcast, you can start a business, you can speak on stages, you can bring in revenue. And she has made thousands of dollars with her business this year, and her next 2025 goal is to get up to 6 figures. And she also has spoken on stage. She had hosted an event. She's been waking up at 5:30 a.m. every day to be on the accountability call. Incredible successes from Renee. Amy, another one of our one-on-ones this year. She has increased her cash flow. One of her rental properties went up in cash flow with a rental tenant that was higher than she thought it was going to be. It was great. And she lost 30 pounds. That was one of the biggest things that we worked on this year.
Good job, Amy.
And she needs to get in touch with you with a CRM. I think you have an appointment on Monday. Okay. Can't believe she's been running without a CRM.
Yeah, crazy.
What? Okay, Brian.
You're still running your business with a spreadsheet? Stop it.
2 words.
Stop it.
Bob Newhart, we love you. Brian Galt, I had him on a guest on the podcast, met him in Fort Lauderdale almost a year ago. He said his biggest win was improving relationship with his wife, Robin, and his girls.
That's great.
Yeah, they got to go to Paris this year.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Pretty cool. Tasha Wheelhouse. She said her biggest win was time management. She's working full-time for a company, but she's also started her YouTube channel. And she started to take a look at bringing on clients as well. And she's finding a way to manage all of that in a way that honors her time, which is a big win. I know that Cheryl's been winning in that arena too.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of wins that they didn't necessarily post them in the chat when I asked, but I know I just want to brag about them. Willie got asked to speak on stage in June, several times, but specifically in June.
Yeah,
over 1,000 people in the audience.
That's amazing.
And either he spoke on stage or emceed that event.
Can't remember which, but yeah.
But we've had him MC our events because he's really good at it. Kelly Walker is hosting her events. She just had one yesterday.
Yep.
Today.
Earlier today.
It's happening right now. Maybe. Is it over?
It might have been half day. Who knows?
But Kelly's doing her own events, and she has pivoted her business from manifesting to actually public speaker training, which is so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Kelly, we need to work more together on that. Me calling you out, love. We've also have Jen Kitterman, who left working under an umbrella company and is now coaching on her own.
Love it.
Through her health coaching. We've got Julie Kay, who started her own podcast, Saving Lives Through Suicide Prevention. Same with Alton. Alton's doing the same thing. He left his job this year to start betting on himself, doing this on his own.
Yeah.
And is having, I mean, he will tell you that he's having his highs and lows, but all I see is him winning.
Lots of success for him.
Through it all, you know? And sometimes that success looks like we've experienced, learning from our failures and learning from our setbacks. But you guys, you get in his airspace, you're going to be a better person because of it.
Mm-hmm.
Who else do we have that we want to shout out wins for? Let's see, JP. JP won our Speak Off.
Our Speak Off, that
was
was
a season
great.
1 winner. Season 2 starts in a couple weeks now. We're very excited about that. We've already got several registrations for it. We also have amazing sets of runners up in that. Most of them are members of the Mastery Hive as well. Any other big wins that come to mind from our people?
Not off the top of my mind, no.
Yeah.
We've had so many, it's hard for me to keep track.
And that's not hyperbole.
No, it's not. That's just, that's what it is.
Yeah, Paris is getting things off
Paris
the ground too.
is killing it. Yeah, he's growing his financial business where he's helping men who make good money but can't seem to quite get ahead.
Yeah, he's helping people with that. Dean also is helping men in a similar position, not so much with their finances, but he's targeting. I was chatting with him quite a bit about this and finally got clear that he's targeting men who are in careers but hate how they're spending their time because they're missing out on their families. So
a lot of people like that.
Oh man, what I love about our students is that they're all doing life-changing work.
Yeah.
I have not yet met a speaker in our community that is less than thrilled about what they're doing. Everyone that hops on the stage is doing it because their life has changed. It's incredible. Okay, so those are our wins. Now I want to get to our life hacks. I'm going to share 2 that came in on the posts that we came. I promised you I would shout them out, and I'm looking on my phone here. I don't have any more coming in from here, so I'm going to get everyone that mentioned it. Okay, Amber Huber, she's in our one of our free communities. She said, actually, she's in our school community, so she's in our paid community. She said, when you're dealing with a messy problem, don't take it personally.
That's good advice for sure.
I have struggled with the definition of taking it personally.
Okay.
The reason for that is I like to take extreme ownership. And when I take extreme ownership, I am a person, right? So that means I can do something better.
Yes. I think that taking it personally means like, okay, the action was maybe not okay, but that doesn't make you a bad person.
Yeah.
That doesn't make you worse, right? You know, I think that's what that means.
Yeah. I feel like my mom gave me some really good advice when I was a kid about providing a hostile environment for taking it personally, or in other words, making it difficult for people to take things personally. She said, when you are giving feedback to someone, when it's you that's saying, pointing at a blind spot or whatever it might be, if you can avoid the word you, Y-O-U, as much as possible, then it shifts the conversation from a you did something wrong conversation to we have a problem we need to solve together conversation. And it helps the solution come about so much more easily because there's no finger pointing involved. There's no, you did this, you messed up this. It's, how do you think we should solve this? I use the word you, but it's a we thing. What is your opinion? Or we encountered this issue, instead of, hey, you must have misplaced the car keys, it's the car keys are missing. Do you know where they went?
Yeah.
Right? It's a big difference, and it's a subtle difference, but it's significant because one is a finger pointing, maybe inadvertent, but the other is we just need to find the car keys. I don't care who lost them.
Yeah.
I just need to know where they are.
What's funny though too is that I kind of feel the opposite, where you take it as an accusation a lot. If I say something like, "Did you move the keys?" That's not an accusation. I'm not saying you move the keys. It's, hey, did you happen to do this? I can't find the keys. Did you move them?
And
it's a question.
Yeah.
But it comes across to you.
It comes across to me as a finger point.
As a finger point when it's not meant to be.
Yeah.
It's merely a question of, hey, did you move the keys by chance? Like, I can't find them. Did you move them? But you take it as an accusation, like, you move the keys. Like, you shouldn't have done that. And that's not what it is.
Yeah, and it does come across that way. And the reason I feel that is because a lot of times when we're talking, it feels to me like that's the default, right? Like that if the keys are missing, using this hyper whatever example, if the keys are missing, it feels like a lot of the times that the first response is somebody else must have done something, right? You must have done something. You moved the keys. Did you move the keys? When in my mind, it's like,
I don't even know what you're talking about. Maybe if we're going to analyze the facts of what happened, if you came in, and you didn't put the keys up, maybe you put them somewhere. So maybe it's not about me, right? Maybe we just can talk about finding the keys. And it doesn't have to be blamed
Just
either way.
Two
right?
different ways. It's not meant to be a blame. It's kind of interesting to just think about.
Yeah. Yeah. And the giving and receiving, back to the point we mentioned earlier in the episode of how the trust but verify thing, how we look at the same thing with different perspectives is often both the cause and the solution to conflict. The cause of the conflict is how we interpret our different perspectives and whether or not they're clashing or whether or not we are actually seeing the same thing. And it's okay that we're seeing it differently.
Yeah.
And and again, not taking it personally comes on both sides. It comes from being aware of our own language and not creating an environment where it's easy to take things personally. And then on the recipient side, which is usually where I'm sitting, having to double check in my mind and say, okay, let's just pretend that it's not blame for a second and find the solution to the problem and maybe give some feedback later. So good piece of advice, not to take things personally. I think that one was for me a lot of the time. So James Burt, he's our artist.
Mm-hmm.
He says, he gave a quote, and I think it's one of his mantras. He says, today is my best day, and I can't wait until tomorrow.
I like that.
Imagine what would happen if you said that at the beginning of every day.
Yeah.
Today is my best day, and I'm excited for tomorrow.
Yeah.
When I was standing on top of that telephone pole, that was my mantra, is I get to be excited about something every single day. That was my mantra. That's what made me jump off that telephone pole. Okay, I got to share with you my rules. You guys ready for this? Are you ready for this? You've heard my rules.
I mean, I've heard some of them. Yeah.
I have them written down. They are literally numbered on my notes on my phone under Marianne's rules, and there are 18 of them, not 19. 18 of them. Guess what the number one rule is? That first thing that came to my head. It might surprise you.
There's a couple I can think of.
Okay, which ones can you think of? And I'll tell you what number they are.
So either everything has a place, so put it back in its place.
That's number 2.
Don't stand in doorways.
Oh, wait. That was one of my dad's rules, and I adopted that one. Are you serious? That's number 19 now, because it wasn't even on my list.
What?
I know. Don't stand in doorways or walkways.
Get the freak out of the way. That's what that means.
I hear my dad's voice. We were leaving church on Sunday, and I'm walking out of our pew to get down the aisle toward the back of the room, and everyone is standing in the pew or in the aisle, just standing there talking like friends. This is a walkway, not a standway. This is a walkway. And I've got like a fussy 2-year-old, and I just wanted to sit that 2-year-old with this poopy diaper on their necks until they moved. Public service announcement, don't stand in doorways or walkways.
You see why I thought this was rule number 1.
It's my dad's rule number 1 for sure. Love you, Daddy.
Yeah, those are probably the biggest 2 that I can think of. What's number 1?
Number 1, literally number 1, always put the lid on securely.
Oh, okay. The other thing I was thinking of is it can't fall down if it's on the ground already.
Okay, my daddy, this is another one. Thank you, Daddy. What did the drunk say? You can't fall off the floor.
Yeah.
Okay. You can't fall.
Is that one not on the list either?
It's just so ingrained in my head that I didn't even
think to write it down.
Do you know how I learned this lesson? This is why that freaking level gives me so much anxiety.
It's leaned up in a corner behind a door where no one's going to touch it.
So when I was probably Charlie's age, I walked through our kitchen doorway, and there was an aluminum level, probably about that size, that I brushed up against it, right? And it fell to the ground, crashed, and broke. Like the fluid didn't break, but the glass surrounding it did.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad was very upset with me. Very, very upset with me. I think nowadays he probably would have backpedaled a little bit. But I remember hearing, and it was loud when aluminum level crashed at the floor. It was really loud, and it like burned in my brain. And I can't remember if
Someone just came home.
Someone's walking around our house and no one's supposed to be home right now.
Do you want to go see who it is?
I'm going to go see who that is.
Okay, I'm going to tell the story. Who's in our house? It's creepy, you guys. Okay, well, I want to tell you the story, though. Wait. It's happening. I think it was a child's voice. Okay. I want Richard to hear the story, though. But this, when that level fell down, I'll never forget the sound of the crash. I'll never forget the glass breaking. And I'll never forget, like, the horror that passed through my body, the terror that passed through my body. Because the worst thing I could do as a kid was make my dad mad. That was the one thing I tried to avoid all the time. Who was it? The DT?
Sienna.
Oh, it was Nana.
Sienna's home.
Oh.
She's off of work.
Oh, okay. Are we taking her over?
No, she just came by to grab a couple of things.
Is she going to come down and say hello?
I doubt it.
Oh.
She's just grabbing something real quick. But the baby is awake, so we need to wrap this up.
Oh, okay. Well, we're almost done. Anyway, I was just telling everyone about this big fear of making my dad mad. And what I wanted to say to my dad, and I didn't, and I know because I'm alive today, because if I had said it, he would have whooped my ass. I would have said right back to him, you can't fall off the floor. And that level was propped up. So anytime something can fall, it probably will. So just lay it on the ground. That goes for cars too. Just put it on the ground, the floor of the car. If it can fall down, it will. Your casserole dish doesn't go on the seat. It goes on the floor. Okay? So.
I will throw out there that I don't agree with all of these rules all the time.
I know. I know you don't. I just put stuff on the floor. Anytime you lean something up and I feel this rule pop up in my head, I just don't say anything. I just put it on the floor. Okay. Number 2, everything goes back in its place. That was one that you said, which means it has to have a place. So it's kind of built in. Number 3 is always have a home base. This is for people. Whenever we go somewhere as a family, this is one that we do both together.
Yeah.
When you go somewhere with your kids, always have a place that's designated as home base. So if you can't find each other,
if you get separated,
this is home base. If we are intentionally separating, we say meet back at home base at this time.
Yeah.
And this is home base. It's usually somewhere where you can find a trusted adult for the venue as well. Like oftentimes if we're at like the dog show, it'll be the first aid hut. Like the first aid.
It's a random like example, but okay.
So excited to go to the dog show again. Coming up.
In several months, but yes.
So it's in May. It's only 5 months. Okay. Number 4, say yes as often as you can.
Okay.
That's one of my rules as a parent is say yes as often as you can, even if it's a yes in 20 minutes. Yes, that's next in line.
Yeah.
Number 5, always go to bed with clean feet.
Why do you have to have that as a rule? Do you have dirty feet?
Well, no, because I go to bed with clean feet all the time. But when I was a kid and I would walk around barefoot outside all the time, and then you'd go to bed and there was like dirt on your feet. It was the worst feeling. I can't even sleep when there's dirt on my feet.
Okay.
Can't do it. And then if you have a little snag on your foot because your skin's dry and it catches on the sheets, that's the worst. So do that. Okay. Number 6, always have a secret backup key.
And then a backup to the backup.
That's
and then
number
a backup
7.
to the backup.
Always have a secret backup key. And number 7 is always have a backup to the backup. And I don't tell Richard where my backup to the backup is. You get to know where my backup is.
Yeah, okay.
Because if I tell you where my backup to the backup is, then because we don't share the same rules, you won't follow rule number 2, which is everything goes back in its place. So this is why I have a secret backup to the backup that I only pull out in case of emergency, and I don't tell you where. Those are the only secrets I keep from you. This is where my double backup is. It's for your own protection.
Okay.
Okay, if you don't have, this is number 8, if you don't have an offsite backup, this is for digital things, and an onsite backup, your information is not backed up.
Yeah, if you don't have it backed up, it's not backed.
If you don't have 2 backups, one offsite and one onsite, it's not backed up.
It's not backed up.
This is one you agree with.
Yeah.
Number 9, always admit when you fart. That way people know it's not you when it's not you.
Okay.
We have fart integrity around here.
Yeah.
You violated that rule inadvertently yesterday.
I did.
It's in the living room. He's like, what stinks?
Who died? Oh,
Is it the dog?
that was me.
I thought it was the baby's diaper, and then the baby gets put to bed. And he's like, it still stinks.
It was me.
Could you not feel yourself?
I just didn't realize. It was me.
We went to the bathroom. It was so bad.
Okay.
I was trying to curl my hair and I couldn't breathe.
Instead, my fumes were curling your nose hairs.
I had to lock myself in the shower, and then you threatened me.
This is love.
It is.
Okay.
Okay, number 10, charge cords don't get moved. You just buy another one and keep the old one where it was.
Yeah.
Charge cords have place ownership. We don't squabble about this one, but we have a mutual understanding
Okay.
about this one. You move charge cords all the time.
All the
if
time.
you ever move my charge cords, I raise hell.
Yeah.
And I buy you another one. This is mine. Get your own. Okay, number 11. Don't get mad when someone fails on the first try, including yourself.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Don't get mad when they fail on the first try. Number 12. Schedule it twice. If you have something to get done, schedule it twice. Once for the deadline and once to actually do it.
Mm-hmm.
So our podcast, it's due every Sunday. You have time scheduled every Sunday to push it out, and we schedule a separate time to film it.
Yeah.
We've got to have 2 times on the calendar. Number 13, pick it up, don't pass it by. If you're on your way upstairs and you see something that needs to go upstairs, bring it with you. That's when he doesn't agree with you. Did you see the body language there?
This one gets in the way when we're in a hurry. Like, damn it, woman. Stop loading the dishwasher. Or no, not even loading. Stop unloading the dishwasher. We have to leave in 5 minutes.
I think it's rule number 13. The worst one, though, is when we were leaving to get on a plane. It was in my first marriage, actually. We were going to somewhere overseas. And I was like, you know what? This freezer needs to be thawed.
Oh my gosh, I would lose my mind. I would drag your ass away from that freezer.
I finished.
Oh my gosh.
I had enough time. I did it.
Most of the times when we're late to something, it's because Marianne decided that she needed to do something else on the way to getting ready.
Do you want me to change the oil while I'm under the bus?
Yes.
Love you. If you need to get rid of it, it goes in your car.
Okay.
Like if you have the bag of stuff you're taking to Goodwill, just put the bag in your car.
Although you have had boxes live in the back of your car for months.
It's true.
You need another rule to follow this that says if it's in your car, take it where it's supposed to go.
You know what's funny is in those instances, I drive by the drop box.
And you never stop.
Not never.
Well,
there was one time it took a minute.
Long time to stop.
There was one time it took a minute.
Okay.
Don't store your liquids on the same surface as your laptop.
I disagree with this.
I know you do. There's one right over there.
Yeah, it's like, that's my desk. This is where I'm working. I'm not going to put my drink on the floor while I'm working at my desk. It's not happening. Sorry.
That's okay. It's my rule, not yours.
Exactly. And you break it all the time. But anyway, continue.
Well, yeah. But every time
because
in my
it's
head,
ridiculous.
my conscience is like, it's against your rule.
It's ridiculous.
If you burn out your laptop, it's on you. You have a rule about
You're
this.
more likely to spill your drink on the floor than you are on your desk.
I don't keep it on the floor.
Where do you keep it then? Oh, that's right. On the desk next to
If
the
it
laptop.
has a secure lid, you're okay. See rule 1, right? Okay. If you see something, say something.
That's a good rule.
If you need to go, oh yeah, that was the next rule. I think I have out of order. Okay. Number 17, leave yourself a chapstick. You hate this rule.
Oh, I don't
It's not
do
one of your
chapstick.
rules.
I don't
Leave
do
yourself a chapstick anywhere you regularly spend more than 10 minutes.
I don't do chapsticks.
There's one in my car. There's 2 on my desk over there. There's one in almost every coat pocket that I have. There's one in my upstairs desk as well. There's one in the junk drawer in the kitchen. And there's a package of them in my bathroom. Anywhere you spend more than 10 minutes, keep a chapstick. If you're a chapstick user.
But none by the bed.
Well, I'm not awake for more than, well, that's
You
not
are
true.
awake for more than 10
I
minutes.
guess that
while
one's an
we're in bed.
exception.
Yeah.
That one's an exception. But I put chapstick on before we come to bed.
Okay.
That's in the bathroom. If it's bedtime, it's just too late.
Yeah.
Okay. 18. If someone offers you a mint, accept it. Think about it.
Yeah. Okay.
They're either like, why would anyone offer you a mint?
I mean, because they pulled out one for them.
Mm-hmm. Either they're being generous and it's kind to accept a gift, or
You need a mint.
you need a mint.
Yeah.
So if anyone ever offers you a mint, just politely say thank you.
Just take it.
And take it. Okay, and then I added the last 2. Don't stand in walkways or doorways, and you can't fall off the floor. Now I have 20 rules.
Nice.
Gibbs has like 98.
Yeah, he has a bunch.
So my list is growing, and I am grateful for every single one of them. These are my rules, not yours, but you're welcome to adopt them. These are my rules, not Richard's. So
No, not
they're
mine.
not punitive when he breaks them. But I do pat myself on the back with an internal "I told you so." Any one time a rule could have prevented catastrophe.
It's not internal.
Well, I don't verbalize it.
Half the time I lose something, I don't ask her if she's seen it because I don't want to hear, well, was it in its place?
You know what I tell with the kids, though?
What?
And you heard me say this. If you can't find it, clean until you can.
Yeah.
And that generally tends to work pretty well. Okay. Well, our baby's awake, so we're going to take this episode and wrap it up. I hope your 2024 gave you everything that you hoped it would. And if your 2024 didn't, learn the lessons that you need to. Because your failures are going to teach you way more than your successes. And Richard and I are not done succeeding, and we're not done failing either.
Yeah.
We're still going to fall on our face from time to time, and we're going to learn stuff from it. And honors and uppers. Here's to a 10X 2025 for you
That's
and me.
right.
Here's to a 10X 2025 for our members and for our listeners. May God bless you. Have a beautiful ending of your year and a beautiful New Year celebration. And here's one piece of advice I will leave you with, tradition that I like. Live January 1st as if you would repeat that day every day for the rest of the year. Do the things that day that you'd want to see yourself do. It's a French tradition, actually. Pretty cool. So as you're planning your 2025, get that first day to where you can go to bed and say, yeah, I had to do this day again. Any sign off from you?
Nope. Just make your 2025 great.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll see you January 2nd at our goal setting webinar. If this episode has already aired and maybe January 2nd has already passed, just text me 801-509-5495 and I'll get you the replay of the episode.
This will drop tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying if they're listening to it.
Oh, if you listen to it after. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. We'll get you the replay.
So just text us 801-509-5495. If you want that podcast database that we talked about, you're going to see, we're going to share in our outro how you can get a hold of it. But you can also find it in the show notes down below. If there's anything that we talked about today that you want a piece of, Richard's going to load up the show notes down below with all the stuff that we talked about. So you can find links to everything.
You are still running on a spreadsheet. You need a CRM 14-day free trial.
Yep.
It's in the show notes.
Yep. Check it out. If you don't have a CRM, if you don't know what it is, you don't have a business, you just have an expensive hobby. Let's fix that.
Yep.
Okay. Love you, friends. Thanks for being here on the Marianne Hickman Show, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Hey, what's up? Marianne Hickman here. Hey, listen, I hope you enjoyed that episode. We have some pretty amazing speakers on my podcast, and of course, more to come. If this is something that you enjoyed, guys, smash the like button, smash the subscribe button. You guys know what to do. I love your comments, and I respond to every single one of them personally, not a bot or an agency. So if this is something you're enjoying, tell me about it. Tell me your gold nuggets. I want to hear from you. But here's the most important thing I want you to laser in on. I told you about the podcast database. You've probably seen me post about it all over social media. I want to make sure that you get it. So here's what I want you to do. Go to mariannehickman.com/database. Once you put all of your information in there, I'm going to send you the document. You request access to it. Boom, it's unlocked. Once you're in there, my rule of thumb is to apply to 10 podcasts a month. It's very digestible. It's very easy to do. And the database gets updated twice a week. So I want you constantly checking back in there for the next podcast that fits your audience. Thank you for being here. Much love to you, and we'll see you in the next episode.